the final whistle to Blackburn Rovers season is still ringing in my ears, but the transfer activity is starting to bubble, including a bit of news that could lead to a player leaving Blackburn Rovers. We'll take a look at that and more next. Right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're taking a look at a rumour bubbling around Ewood Park at the moment, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're chewing, smash your subscribe button to get you back up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers State Championship related. Whoa, football related, we're going to go here under one roofski. That's right, boys and girls, of course, the news never stops, especially heading into transfer season. Of course, players coming in, players coming out, of course. We'll be keeping an eye on that over the next couple of days, of course. But yes, hot off the press today, there's been a bit of news that's got me a little bit concerned. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. Who are they? I'm talking about the Patreons, boys and girls. Thank you for your continued support behind the scenes. Also, check out the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon. And we got a Discord live, and it's bubbling right now. So check that out, it's free to enter. But anyway, yes, of course, over the past couple of days, there's been a bit of news, which has got me sitting on the right side of the fence, and then now got me a little bit wobbling, of course. So yeah, two respected journalists, depending on how you look at them, of course, posted a couple of tweets contradicting each other a little bit, which has got me a little bit concerned. So those tweets are coming at you right here, right now. So let's kick it all off with the first tweet. It was by Rich Sharp, who is, of course, is a dedicated Blackburn Rovers reporter up in that neck of the woods. He focuses on the northwest, reporting on everything Rovers related, so we are valued to have him because he of course brings us the inner workings of the club, amongst there's a couple of others dotted about as well. But Rich Sharp, a harmless tweet here, nothing really too much to get excited or not excited. It's basically confirming the some of the players that will be staying at Rovers from the after the announcement of the retained list. He said Rovers announced that Ryan Nyambe, Joe Rothwell, Joe Rankingstell and Bradley Johnson will all remain at the club next season. From that point, of course, yes, it's a happy tweet for me. Of course, I'm a big Nyambe fan, Joe Rothwell as well, Joe Rankingstell, I'm hoping, of course, we'll all have big parts to play. And, of course, Bradley Johnson provides a bit of beef in that midfield, a bit of experience. And, of course, if we're losing the likes of Stuart Downing, maybe Elliot Bennett, Lewis Holtby, we do need some experienced pros in there. And Bradley Johnson has got a foot on him. But that's not the point that I'm reading. It's the Joe Rothwell bit that has caused me a little bit concerned. Not his tweet. It was this one by Alan Nixon. I don't think you can read it there, but it says, Alan Nixon said this: Blackburn would sell Rothwell if a proper bid came in, use funds on other areas, and possibly try to offer Armstrong a new deal. So it looks, from initial vibe, from these two tweets, yes, Joe Rothwell, as of right here, right now, will be a Blackburn Rovers player next season. But if a team comes in with a couple of £1 million, perhaps £2 or £3 million, maybe Blackburn Rovers would sell him to use that money to kind of keep Adam Armstrong. So, of course, we all are under the mindset that Adam Armstrong is on his way out. He's already packing his bags. He hasn't got there's no confirmed bid on the table or anything like that, but we all believe that he's going to go possibly to West Ham, possibly somewhere else for big money moves. But it looks like Mowbray and the board and the guys that matter want to keep Adam Armstrong from this little bit of a discussion here. What really concerns me is, of course, Joe Rothwell is a creative force in our midfield, which is completely starved at the moment. When you look at our injury situation, with, of course, the main creative force in midfield, Bradley Dack, going to be out until March. We've already lost Harvey Elliott. He's going to go. Lewis Holtby, of course, not as creative as he should be, but of course is a creative player as well. Losing him as well. So we're already technically 3 creative forces down. Losing Joe Rothwell from that midfield would pretty much put all the creative responsibilities on a young gun, John Buckley, who I don't think is ready to be given that mantle of that role. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about Joe Rothwell himself and what he adds to the team, and of course what we could do if this scenario was to happen. So, of course, Joe Rothwell's been with us now, of course, for a couple of seasons now, since we've been promoted back to the Championship. And to be fair, he's a player that is unique to us, ourselves. He is a bit of a dynamic sort of player. Not really your goal scorer that we'd hope he'd turn out to be, but definitely a unique, energetic individual on his day. Of course, those days are less than more, if you know what I mean. We don't see it as often, but I don't know if that's down to Joe himself or the role he plays or the management's view on him. But he's always been there as a player that's been split by the fan base. Of course, some people see that energetic and that energy and that dynamism that is starved within our team, and we hope to see more of that. And I'm probably of that ilk that I'm a pro Joe Rothwell player at this time, but other fans think he's not scoring the goals, he's not getting the shots off, and again that might be down to confidence at the moment. But again, he's only been here 2 seasons. He's played 76 times for Rovers, scoring 5 goals in total over those 2 seasons. A player that can play on the left or the right or even down the middle of a 3-man midfield perhaps. For me, my major concern, if this rumour is true that we are likely to sell him, well, it's quite a lot to this. He is our main creative influence at the moment as of recording. Of course, we've got no Bradley Dack no more. Lewis Holtby's already out the door. We're losing Harvey Elliott as well, another massive creative influence of last season, providing 11 assists to us. Joe might not have contributed to those numbers this season or last season. I think he got 4 assists this season, a couple of 3 goals as well, according to my brain here. But one thing that's going under the radar now, I don't know how official these numbers are, but I've got a list of the Blackburn Rovers wages here, and Joe Rothwell coming in quite low on the paying scale compared to other players. I believe that Jacob Davenport, I don't want to create a ruckus here, according to these numbers, Jacob Davenport is nearly earning double the amount of money that Joe Rothwell is. So for money sense, we've got to start, it's a no-brainer. We've got to keep Joe Rothwell for the finances side of things anyway, especially on that deal. You could probably even offer him a Brucey bonus, a couple of year extension maybe, with a couple of extra grand in the back pocket there to keep him sweet. But yeah, according to my brain, he's got £4,100 a week salary, which is on the same, just actually a little bit more than Lewis Travis, which is also quite a surprise as well, with the likes of Jacob Davenport getting 8 grand. Derek Williams did get 6 and a bit as well. So it's quite surprisingly how less appreciated Joe Rothwell will be getting at the moment. But again, the numbers don't really back the need to offer some crazy sort of money. If he was a double-digit man getting 10 goals a season, then maybe, just maybe. But I think he does just need that time to be the focal point. Of course, he was a focal point for Oxford as well, chipping in with 6 goals in the League One campaign as well. And of course, he did something to catch the eye of Mowbray in the League One campaign to make him make the switch as well. I've got formerly of the books as well of Manchester United way back when he went through the leagues, had a couple of seasons in League One, Barnsley as well, Blackpool. So he's been around a little bit, but again, he's at that age, 26 years age now. He'll be 27 as we get into next season. Do we want to pin our hopes on this guy? I think it's a no-brainer, especially the value of his wages. It's a financial sense. We've just let a lot of money go out the door, of course, with Barry Douglas on a ridiculous amount of money. Of course, Lewis Holtby as well on a ridiculous amount of money. Corey Evans and the likes, maybe even Elliot Bennett, Harvey Elliott as well, all on ridiculous double-digit kind of per week wages, which will hopefully lighten the load for Blackburn to maybe make some shrewd moves in the transfer market as well. So for me, let's up his contract. I think we need to up his contract, maybe put some more responsibility on his shoulders and say, you know what, heading into the new season, Dak is out. We all know Dak's importance to this team, especially if we are going to sell Adam Armstrong. Now, of course, that tweet itself, if we'll go back to that tweet, it did say that we would try to use any money that if we were to sell Joe to kind of put onto Adam Armstrong to maybe keep him in for the longer term. Now, what do we do with that? That's a bit of a nugget of information to kind of get us thinking as well. Would we sacrifice Joe Rothwell in order to keep Adam Armstrong here for another season or so? Is the money that we would like to get? And I have a quick scan on the transfermarkt.com. His value as of recording is around about £2 million. So we're not going to get a ridiculous amount of money for Joe. If we're lucky, we might get 2 and a bit, maybe 3 million. And again, the wages saved, realistically, is that gonna make Adam Armstrong want to stick around? If we were to give Joe's wages to him, an extra 4, maybe 5 grand a week, is that going to be good enough? He's on 17 right now. I'm sure if the door comes a knocking with West Ham, Everton, Brighton, I'm sure he could earn 40 to 50k a week, no questions asked, because that's where the money's at now, of course. So for me, I don't think that. I think the financial side of things should have a huge component in this. We had no fans in the stands for the best ball for a whole season, and maybe a little chunk of change for the last season as well. Adam Armstrong, selling him would be, we'd sell our asset at the right time. We've been bitten by this bug in the past. We had Bradley Dack at prime Bradley Dack with West Brom sniffing around for £10 million and all that, and maybe some other clubs were sniffing as well, looking to prize Bradley Dack on it when his stock was high. Bradley Dack's stock is now going down a little bit. He's getting older. Of course, now got 2 ACLs. The chances of us getting that kind of money for Bradley Dack in the future have not gone, but they're a much smaller chance than that. Of course, a player with a couple of ACLs in the past is going to be quite something not easy to forget. Adam Armstrong's stock is now quite high. What happens if he has and I don't wish no injury on nobody, of course, not even a Burnley player. I don't want of course, if this is your trade, you want to be playing to the longest of your ability. But if Adam Armstrong wants to pick up a bad injury or he goes through a bad run of form, are we likely to get that kind of money again? I don't think so. If we do keep Adam Armstrong, would we be in a better championship, a better state in the championship, maybe to push for the top 6, perhaps, but I don't know. Yeah, we've got to be thinking about this wisely. We've got to think about the money. If there is an offer for Adam Armstrong, then yes. Again, heading into the season, both Joe and Adam Armstrong will be there, and for me, selling Joe to bring in a Lewis Holtby, no disrespect to Lewis Holtby style of player who's hit and miss, bit of a gamble at 15 grand a pop, whereas you could have Joe currently a third less than that. I think my head and my money would be back in Joe Rothwell, of course, younger still. He's got a point to prove, and I think if we were to give him that and sit him down in the office one-on-one and say, Joe, this is your season. I want you to come in here, take this by the mantle, and be the man that creates the goals, the assist man, the key man. And of course, we will hope to add support to Joe on either side. Maybe another loanee, Tyree Stolen, Chapman, maybe, I don't know, some wingers, Curtis from Portsmouth. I don't know. We'll bring in some reinforcements, of course, but the main focal point should be Joe in my eyes. And I think this is a make or break season as well for him. So for me, I would say heck no to the sell of Joe. Let's keep a hold of him. He's bargain. He's cheap as chips right now. You could even put a smile on his face, but I give him an extra couple of grand as well a week to kind of keep him sweet for another season or so. But to sell him for the small fee that we would get and the amount of room you would create in that wage cap is quite small, so I don't know. I don't see the reason to it. But just further down, when I had a look at this, the old wage cap and stuff like that. Also surprised by the Lewis Travis revelation. He's on 4 grand, and again, he's still a young gun as well. But also the likes of Tyree Stolen on peanuts as well. So yeah, I think they need to address some of those as well moving forward. Some guys need a little bit of a sweetener to keep them on the straight and narrow. But of course, that's my take on it. Joe Rothwell, don't go Joe. That's what I say. Don't go Joe. Let's keep a hold of him. We are starved with creativity. Of course, if Bradley Dack was back and maybe we did bring in reinforcements of a new creative dynamo that can compete with Bradley Dack. Competition is healthy. Joe Rothwell right now is the major competitor for Bradley Dack for that creative role. Of course, Bradley Dack is out, so we'll be looking at Buckley and Rothwell as of right here, right now, being the creative force. I know it doesn't wet your lips with excitement and anticipation, but it's what we've got right now. Can you tell me right here, right now, that we could get a better player that provides what Joe Rothwell provides for the wage that he is on right here, right now? I would be surprised if you could do just that, and a player that would come, of course. Joe Rothwell's here. He's with us. Let's put our faith behind him. Maybe give him a bit of a sweetener, and of course, let's give him a bit of our love, a bit of our attention, and say, Joe, you're the man. Of course, Dack is out. You have got to be the guy that's going to step up and take this crack with both hands. Anyway, that's my take on the Joe Rothwell. The rumour, again, it's only a rumour. It's of course from credible sources, reasonably credible sources, of course. So take it from what you will. But could Joe be on his way out to save Adam Armstrong, to keep him in here for another season? It's something that will brew all season. Again, make sure you stick around all season as well. We've got transfer rumours, of course, as and when we get them. We've also been linked with a couple of other midfielders as well. Sheaf from Coventry / Arsenal, I think he was on loan there. Klukas as well from Stoke, which I don't know about that one as well. He could be a good player, but I'm sure he'll come with a bit of money as well. Those are just some of the bubblers that we might talk about, of course, if we get the time to do it. But anyway, I wanted to address this one. Until then, though, I'll see you all soon for the next. Make sure you check out the links down below on my Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. Until then, I'll see you soon for the next. Until then, I'm out.